At 64 years old, Randy Morganson had been a backcountry ranger at the Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks for 28 seasons, making him the most experienced ranger in the High Sierra. On July 21st, 1996, he wrote a note on his tent, though he mistakenly wrote June 21st instead of July, indicating that he would be gone for a few days, and left his station near Bench Lake without his Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum. Unfortunately, Randy never returned and was never seen alive again. Randy had grown weary of dealing with what he referred to as swinus americanus, a type of backpacking tourist whose trash he had to clean up and whose bad behavior often caused him great frustrations. Sadly, this story involves the infidelity and the death of a highly experienced seasonal park ranger who had dedicated much of his life to the National Park Service. Located in the southern Sierra Nevada, California, Kings Canyon National Park boasts several impressive natural features, including the glacier-carved Kings Canyon, which is over a mile deep, numerous peaks reaching over 14,000 feet, expansive meadows and high mountain areas, fast-moving rivers, and some of the world's largest collection of giant sequoia trees. Kings Canyon lies north and adjacent to Sequoia National Park, and both parks are jointly managed by the National Park Service under the name of Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks. Additionally, Sequoia National Park can be found in the southern Sierra Nevada regions, east of Visalia, California, and covers an area of 404,064 acres, which includes Mount Whitney, reaching a height of 14,505 feet above sea level within its boundaries. The park is particularly famous for its giant sequoia trees, among which the General Sherman tree, the largest tree on Earth. The giant forest in the park is also home to 5 of the 10 biggest trees in the world. Running from north to south, the Pacific Crest Trail/John Muir Trail combined route is a favorite among backpackers and spans an entire length of the park. Approximately 99% of the park's backcountry visitors tend to stick to its designated trails, which results in a vast majority of the park's terrain being managed and maintained by the backcountry rangers. Randy had a deep aversion to the unsightly mess that visitors would leave behind while exploring the park's pristine wilderness, which he dubbed backpacker detritus. In 1973, Mercure Metal Log, he wrote about the importance of taking the path less traveled and not always seeking the easiest route in life. Randy encouraged readers to embrace their adventurous spirit and not rely on the trail signs or sturdy bridges. He urged people to seek out the beauty of the mountains for themselves and to be open to finding the goodness in whatever they encountered. According to him, the park was a place to be free from the constraints of everyday life and to live by whim, allowing oneself to get lost, fall into creeks, and discover beautiful places. Prior to the 1996 season, Randy expressed a sense of melancholy to his colleagues, questioning whether his many years as a ranger had been worth it. The sentiment wasn't surprising, as he had recently received divorce papers from his wife, Judy. Although she had joined him in the backcountry for many years, she had chosen not to accompany him in recent times. Randy had also been involved in an affair with a fellow ranger named Lo Linus, which had resulted in the divorce papers. He confided in a close friend and fellow rangers that he sometimes felt suicidal. On July 20th, 1996, he radioed this same colleague and his wife, asking mundane questions that were interpreted as Randy simply wanting someone to talk. The conversation was brief and it ended abruptly when Randy stated, "I won't be bothering you two anymore." The following day, Randy left his camp and was never seen alive again. While Randy was recognized for his minimal impact on the environment, the rainfall during the late July period made it difficult to determine where he was headed. Ranger Rick Sanger, a second-year backcountry ranger, became concerned when Randy didn't check in via radio for several days. Rick hiked through the night to Randy's duty station at Bench Lake and found a note indicated that he had not returned from a cross-country patrol and was now considered missing. This was reported on July 25th, 1996. The news of Randy's disappearance triggered one of the most grueling search and rescue missions in National Park Service history, particularly because the Rangers were searching for one of their own. Randy Kaufman, who was the incident commander, instructed the search teams to refer to Morganson's logbook for any clues about Randy's whereabouts. He also held a secret vote among them to assign a POA, probability of area, and a ROW, rest of world, probability to each section of the search area, in case Randy was located outside of the designated search area. It was mandatory for the total percentage points assigned to each ranger to add up to 100, and no ranger could assign a 0 to any area among the 16 segments and the ROW segment. The Bench Lake Basin area had the highest POA percentage of 26.2%, with Marion Lake and its surrounding areas as the second highest at 19.2%. Ranger George Durkee, a close friend of Randy, was the only one who assigned a high percentage to the ROW option, knowing Randy's depressive thoughts at the time. Each segment, ranging from 500 to 7,000 acres, made the operation challenging and hazardous for the rescuers. The possibility of Randy not wanting to be found also loomed over the mission. Around 100 rescue personnel combed 80 square miles of wilderness, hoping that Randy's radio was malfunctioning or broken, or it was in a dead zone, or maybe his car had failed. Also, there were no signs of withdrawals from his bank account or usage of his credit cards. A special investigator discovered that Randy had several threats of violence twice, but both alleged perpetrators had alibis. CASIE, a computer program designed to simplify the calculations involving managing a search emergency, was used to monitor the search. However, the program was limited to surface areas and didn't factor in underground, underwater, or rockslide locations. Despite the efforts of the search team, including dogs and a FLIR helicopter equipped with infrared cameras, no trace of Randy was found. The search was eventually called off, and it was suspected that Randy had left the area to start a new life away from the National Park Service. 13 days after Randy's disappearance, a letter addressed to Randy and Judy Morganson's home arrived, postmarked 2 days after his reported disappearance. This sparked suspicion, as there was no postal service in the national park, and it was unclear how Randy could have sent the letter. The official search was called off in early August 1996, with no sign of Randy. After 5 years since the search for Randy was halted, a member of the trial building crew from California Conservation Corps, age 19, discovered some remains in July 2001. The young worker uncovered the new evidence near a creek situated in a gorge within the Widow Peak drainage area. The location was near the edge of the search area, below the pools of a waterfall. Rangers were called in and discovered a tattered shirt with Morganson's badge, a backpack with a buckle fastened, and a boot with something white protruding from it. It was a leg bone. Upon closer inspection, the boot and pack seemed to match the description of gear that Randy was using when he went missing. Investigation and recovery teams were flown in, and a functioning park issue radio was found on top of the falls. The discovery confused investigators even more because rangers remembered searching the gorge and crossing that exact spot where the radio was found. Although these remains seemed to confirm that Randy had been in the mountains the whole time, investigators were unsure whether this was where he died. Retired Sierra Subdistrict Ranger Alden Nash believes that Randy had fallen through a snow bridge, broken his leg, and his body had been hidden beneath the ice throughout the search. In an eerie coincidence, during the rescue attempt in 1996, Judy had a dream of a dead man floating in a lake. Randy may have wanted to appear to have died on the job to make sure Judy, his wife at the time, got a $100,000 benefit from the government, a policy not honored in the case of suicide. The disappearance of Randy Morganson provides several valuable lessons, including preparation is key. Randy was an experienced backcountry ranger, but he still encountered unexpected circumstances that led to his disappearance. It's important to be well prepared with appropriate gear, supplies, and knowledge before heading out into the wilderness. Safety procedures should always be followed. Rangers and other backcountry personnel must always follow established safety procedures, including regular communication check-ins and strict adherence to established protocols. The importance of search and rescue operations. The extensive and emotionally draining search and rescue operation for Randy shows how critical these operations are in helping locate and recover missing persons. The value of technology in search and rescue operations. The use of the Computer-Aided Search Information Exchange, CASIE, C-A-S-I-E, and infrared cameras help to streamline and focus the search for Randy. The power of perseverance. Despite the challenges and frustrations encountered during the search for Randy, the search and the investigation teams persevered and ultimately discovered his remains, bringing closure to his family, his colleagues, and his friends. Welcome back to a universe of mystery. Today, we'll delve into the tragic and mysterious disappearance of Michael Paul Lemaitre, who went missing during the 2012 Mount Marathon race in Seward, Alaska. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing stories like this one. So let's dive in. Mount Marathon, located in Alaska, is well known for its annual race held on the 4th of July. This challenging 5K features a grueling climb and descent with an elevation gain of around 3,000 feet. The race is not for the faint of heart, and competitors must navigate steep, treacherous terrain. Originating in 1915, the Mount Marathon race has become a beloved tradition for both the local community and the adventurous runners worldwide. Each year, hundreds of participants flock to Seward, Alaska to test their limits and conquer the mountain. However, the race has also seen its fair share of accidents, injuries, and even a few fatalities. On July 4th, 2012, a 65-year-old Michael Paul Lemaitre took part in this iconic race. He was a devoted husband, father, and grandfather, and an avid runner. Little did he know that this race would be his last. As the day unfolded, Lemaitre would vanish without a trace, leaving behind a heartbroken family and a community searching for answers. Paul Lemaitre was not an elite athlete, but he was passionate about running and eager to participate in this challenging event. Despite the inherent risks, he was determined to prove himself and conquer Mount Marathon. Lemaitre was last seen near the summit of Mount Marathon, lagging behind other racers. Although he was not as fast as some of his younger competitors, his determination was undeniable. When he failed to return after the race, his family and friends grew concerned. It wasn't long before search parties were dispatched to comb the mountain for any sign of him. The following is the actual search party featured on the hit TV show, Alaskan State Troopers.
I got called to search and rescue. A 66-year-old male went up over the top. Last seen about 6 p.m. It's about 9:30 right now. This is this man's first time running this mountain. Got a helo on standby. We're going to have a spotter go up with him and see if they can find him.
We do have last visual of him at the top of the mountain. These two cliff areas, this is a 300-foot drop right here, and this backside is vicious.
The troopers can't waste any time. In less than an hour away, the temperature will drop to around 40 degrees.
We got about 40 minutes or so of daylight. We're going to start pulling people off here pretty soon. Okay. All right. It's too dangerous for you guys to be up there at night.
Mount Marathon frequently attracts novice racers who fail to recognize the peril, a blunder that some may not have a chance to repeat. Troopers dispatch seasoned hiker David Lorraine to scale the mountain slopes.
I have knowledge of this mountain, and if we have any search and rescues on this mountain, I'm the one that's supposed to respond to it.
So that's where they wanted me to go.
The path that existed earlier today is transformed into a muddy torrent, where a single misstep could result in a fatal plunge, equivalent to a 30-story descent.
So they put this trail in to bypass these rocks here to come up, but as you can see, this trail is pretty slippery. People don't, they're just coming down fast and they slip on the slippery rocks, and next thing you know, it's a good little drop down to the bottom of the chute there.
Clearly, the higher you go, the colder it gets. Hypothermia, especially when you get damp and in these conditions in a rainforest type of environment, it can set in really fast.
A cry for help gets the trooper's attention, but it's a female voice.
You in the trees? Can you see me? I'm coming. Just stay there, don't move. You aren't cut up or anything? Okay. Pretty cold?
Yeah. Is there like down there, is there like anywhere I could go in?
Yeah, we'll get you help.
She had a pair of running pants on, they were ripped. I did see a little bit of blood. She was shivering, she was sopping wet. She was stuck.
Yeah, this is really bad right here.
Yeah. $21.42. $21.42. $42.
This was right on the bottom. I don't know if it could be a clue or something. We'll look right there at this last part.
Yeah.
That's not his?
I don't know. Is it?
Do we know where the family is?
One of them's in here.
In the back on the couch there.
Did you see what he was wearing this morning by chance?
I didn't.
Okay.
Where was that located at?
It was on the mountain, down low, but
Probably not.
As daylight fades, the ground searchers decide to suspend their efforts until morning. However, with Lemaitre at risk of succumbing to the freezing temperatures overnight, a final attempt is made to locate him using an aerial thermal camera.
The weather, the rain coming down, if they find this guy, they've got to offload the trooper in the dark. The temperature's down pretty low. With that thermal camera, we'll be able to spot him pretty quick. He's going to stick out like a sore thumb up there. Landing could mean a couple of different things. They could be having trouble with the helicopter, or they could have found the subject. They could be trying to get down to him. Okay, so no contact with him right now.
we are currently on the hillside. We're yelling and waiting for a response. We have no contact with anybody. We're just waiting to see if we are going to hear anything.
The helicopter searches throughout the night and into the next day and finds nothing.
It's been over 72 hours. During this time frame, I've probably received about 10 hours sleep. And then I kind of go home and try to reprocess and reorganize things. It really teaches you to focus what's important in life, because none of us really know what the future holds. All we really have is the now.
Searchers comb the mountain day and night using helicopters, dogs, and ground teams in an effort to locate Lemaitre. They searched every possible trail and even ventured off the established paths, hoping to find any clues that might lead them to him. But as the days wore on and the search area expanded, the chances of finding him alive began to diminish. The search for Lemaitre was extensive, with authorities, volunteers, and family members scouring the mountain and its surrounding areas. Despite their efforts, no trace of him was ever found. The search was eventually called off, but his family continued their quest for answers, determined to uncover what happened to their beloved Paul. Over the years, various groups and individuals have returned to Mount Marathon to continue the search for Lemaitre. Some have even claimed to have found personal items that may have belonged to him, but to date, no definitive evidence has been uncovered. Lemaitre's disappearance not only left the family in mourning, but it also raised serious questions about the safety of the Mount Marathon race. In the wake of this tragedy, race organizers implemented improved communication systems and increased safety measures to ensure the well-being of future participants. They also established cutoff times for racers to reach specific checkpoints, providing a better way to monitor their progress and ensure that no one is left behind. Additionally, the race now requires participants to carry a personal tracking device, which allows organizers and emergency personnel to locate them in case of an accident or an emergency. These changes were made in the hope that no family would ever have to endure the same heartache that Paul Lemaitre's loved ones face. The disappearance of Michael Paul Lemaitre remains shrouded in mystery. Some speculate that he may have succumbed to the harsh Alaskan wilderness or perhaps encountered a wild animal. Others suggest that he may have become disoriented and wandered off the trail. Despite the many theories, there is still no concrete evidence as to what truly happened. Lemaitre's story has captured the attention of the public and the media, with many drawn to the unsolved mystery and the unwavering determination of his family to find the answers. Their continued search serves as a testament to their love for Paul and their desire for closure. As we remember Michael Paul Lemaitre and his family, we're reminded of the importance of staying safe and vigilant in the great outdoors. This tragic story serves as a cautionary tale for all adventurers. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. Please like, share, and subscribe to A Universe of Mystery for more captivating stories like this. Until next time, stay curious, safe, and keep exploring.
Timothy Treadwell was an individual who was passionate about bears, the environment, and filmmaking. Over the course of 13 summers, he spent a significant amount of time in Alaska's Katmai National Park, where he dedicated himself to studying the coastal brown bears, also known as grizzly bears. Treadwell documented his wildlife interactions through a variety of mediums, including videos, photos, and audio recordings. Tragically, in 2003, Timothy Treadwell and his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard, lost their lives while camping and recording themselves in the wild. Despite their tragic deaths, Treadwell's life and work continued to inspire others. German film director Werner Herzog was particularly moved by Treadwell's story and used his journals, including his last audio recording, as the basis for his critically acclaimed documentary film, Grizzly Man, which was released in 2005.
I think you should not keep it, you should destroy it.
Yeah.
I think that's what you should do.
Okay.
Because it will be the white elephant in your room all your life.
The film explores the life and death of Timothy Treadwell, depicting him as a man who had a unique connection with the bears he studied, ultimately leading to his tragic demise. Treadwell's dedication to studying bears and his passion for the environment left a lasting impression on many, and his story continues to inspire those who seek to understand and protect wildlife.
I beat your fucking asses. I protected the animals. I did it. Fuck you. Animals rule. Timothy conquered. Fuck you, Park Service. Okay.
From a young age, Timothy Treadwell had a deep love and appreciation for animals. However, it wasn't until his first encounter with a brown bear in Alaska that he truly found his passion. The experience ignited a deep connection within him, leading him to dedicate his life to studying and protecting the wild bears of Alaska. Treadwell's dedication to the bears was further solidified after a near-fatal heroin overdose in the late 1980s. He saw his recovery as a second chance at life and spent the next 13 summers escaping to the wild to study and name every bear he encountered. During this time, Treadwell recorded almost 100 hours of videos and amassed a vast collection of still photographs, capturing his interactions with the bears in a way that few had seen before. In September of 2003, Treadwell's obsession with his favorite bear, Downy, led him and his girlfriend, Amy, back to Katmai National Park. They set up camp deep inside the Grizzly Maze, an area known for its dangerous and unpredictable bears. Treadwell was aware of the risks, but he was convinced that the bears considered him a friend and would not harm him. Despite the warnings of park rangers and experts, Timothy Treadwell believed that the bears he studied in Alaska's Katmai National Park were his friends and had developed a sense of mutual trust and respect with them. He stopped using bear sprays and electric fences around his tent, believing that his understanding of the bears' behavior and his ability to communicate with them would keep him safe. Treadwell's dangerous tactics for bear encounters had always been a source of concern for park rangers, who warned him of the potential risks. In fact, experts believed that Treadwell was breaking every park rule by getting too close to the bears, harassing wildlife, and interfering with natural processes. Despite this, Treadwell remained convinced that the bears posed no danger to him. According to him, the bears were his friends and trusted him implicitly. As a result, he became increasingly reckless in his approach to studying them, often getting dangerously close to the animals. In hindsight, Treadwell's methods for studying and interacting with the bears were highly controversial and dangerous. Despite this, his passion for the bears and his desire to protect them from harm continued to inspire many who seek to learn more about these majestic creatures. During the summer of 2003, Timothy Treadwell noticed that the bears were behaving more aggressively than usual. He had spent 13 summers observing and interacting with the bears and was familiar with their patterns of behavior. However, the bears were experiencing a drought, and as the fall approached, the salmon population rose, making the bears more active and aggressive. Despite knowing the risks, Treadwell decided to stay in the park with his girlfriend, Amy. Treadwell had mentioned to his friend Willie Fulton on October 4 that every fish was running and every bear was there, and he believed he made the best decision of his life to stay. Treadwell's decision to stay in the park during the aggressive bear season, without using any defensive methods or bear deterrence, has been considered by experts as a reckless and dangerous move. Experts speculated that Timothy Treadwell might have encountered the notorious 25th grizzly during his fatal camping trip. The term 25th grizzly refers to a bear that is particularly aggressive and has a low tolerance for humans and other bears. Such bears are known to attack without provocation, and Treadwell had written about them in his book Among Grizzlies. During his trip, Treadwell and his girlfriend recorded their interactions with two large male bears whom he had named Demon and Machine. Treadwell's behavior towards these animals suggested that they could be 25ths, but he still attempted to befriend them. In his journal, Treadwell wrote, "The red machine is from the old days of when bears came here, and the sight, the smell of a person meant poacher. How can I communicate to him that I am friend and all the rest are foe?" Despite the warnings from park rangers and biologists about Treadwell's dangerous tactics for bear encounters, he believed that he had developed a sense of mutual trust and respect with the bears. However, the increasing aggression of the bears in the area due to drought and their preparation for hibernation made the situation more perilous. Treadwell's decision to camp without using bear sprays or electric fences around his tent directly led to the catastrophic event that occurred. The following audio is the actual recording of Timothy Treadwell and his girlfriend being attacked. Viewer discretion is advised. Warning. The following is the actual audio recording of Timothy and his girlfriend being attacked. Earlier that evening, Treadwell had heard a bear growling outside their tent and went out to investigate while keeping his sound recorder on. The 6-minute audio clip ends there. The next day, Treadwell's friend, Kodiak Air taxi pilot Willie Fulton, arrived to pick up the couple and found a horrific sight. He saw a collapsed tent and a large bear sitting on a pile of what appeared to be a human body. Fulton landed on the lake and immediately called Alaska State Troopers in Kodiak and National Park Rangers in King Salmon. When the Rangers arrived, they discovered Treadwell's body parts scattered a few feet away from the camp, and Amy's remains partially buried under a heap of twigs and dirt near the torn tents. The park rangers were forced to kill a charging old male bear and another young one as they cleared the site of the couple's remains. Reports suggest that the bear was starving due to old age and broken teeth, which might have led to the bear roaming around Treadwell's tent in search of food. In the 85-year history of Katmai National Park, this was the first known incident of a person being attacked and killed by a bear. The tragic story of Timothy Treadwell and Amy Huguenard serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of human-bear interactions. Despite his passion for bears, Treadwell's disregard for safety measures and park rules led to his and his girlfriend's untimely deaths. Their gruesome mauling by a 1,000-pound grizzly bear was a stark reminder that nature can be both beautiful and deadly. The incident also highlighted the importance of respecting wildlife and the critical role of park rangers in ensuring visitor safety. As we continue to explore and enjoy our natural world, it's essential to remember that humans are not the only inhabitants, and we must take responsibility for our actions to prevent such tragedies from happening again.
Welcome back to a universe of mystery, where we delve into the most intriguing mysteries surrounding disappearances in our national parks. Today, we're uncovering the chilling story of Kenny Veach, an experienced hiker who vanished while searching for the enigmatic M Cave in the Nevada desert. What happened to Kenny, and what secrets does the M Cave hold? Stay tuned to find out. But before we start unraveling this eerie tale, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Now, let's begin. Kenny Veach was a seasoned adventurer, always eager to explore uncharted wilderness. In October 2014, he posted a comment on YouTube claiming to have discovered a mysterious cave shaped like the letter M near Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. According to Kenny, upon approaching the cave, he felt an unusual vibration that caused his body to tremble, and a sense of fear overtook him. Intrigued by this experience, he vowed to return and investigate further.
This ain't nothing. I am a long-distance hiker. One time during one of my hikes up by Nellis Air Force Base, I found a hidden cave. The entrance to the cave was shaped like a perfect capital M. I always enter every cave I find, but as I began to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared and hightailed it out of there. That was one of the strangest things that ever happened to me.
Determined to uncover the truth behind the M Cave, Kenny embarked on a solo hiking expedition in 2014, armed with his camera to document the journey. He uploaded a video on his YouTube channel detailing his search, but ultimately returned empty-handed. Undeterred, Kenny announced his plans to venture back into the desert to locate this mysterious cave once again. Unfortunately, this would be the last time his friends and family would ever hear from him. The following is excerpts from the actual video that Kenny posted while he was exploring for the cave.
Well, here I am on my hike up here in the mountains north of Las Vegas. This is a canyon I just walked up in. Now you can't tell, but my truck is way out there by the mountains at the very, very end of this valley. It's kind of like a big canyon. On the other side of these mountains, I'll show you in a second, is the bombing range, the Nellis Air Force bombing range. They do a lot of practice stuff out there. This is an old mine, and there's a hole here that just goes way down. My mission today is to just do a one-day hike. It's about a 10-hour hike. I got to still go over another ridge and then go all the way down a big crevice that's real narrow and gets kind of scary. I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before, and something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday. And I talked to some people on YouTube, and I told them, hey, I'm coming out here, you know, because they kind of called my hand on it. So I don't know if there's going to be anything to it, but it might be interesting. If I can find it, I got to relocate it, and this is a big mountain range I'm in, and I'm on foot. You know, my truck's way out there. There's no roads, there's no trails. It's a pretty rough terrain. So hopefully I'll find it. It's shaped like a big M. It's a big cave that looks just like a gigantic M. and it's about as tall as I am and kind of narrow, and it's stuck on the side of a mountain. So I hope I can find it again. And if I do, I'm going in there. I'm gonna put on my light and take my gun out and walk in there, see if I find anything. We'll see.
On November 10, 2014, Kenny set out for his fateful expedition. After he failed to return, a search party was dispatched to comb the desert for any trace of the missing hiker. On November 22nd, his cell phone was found near an abandoned mine shaft, but there was no sign of Kenny. The search continued for weeks, but to no avail. Kenny Veach's disappearance has fueled various theories and speculations, including an accidental fall. Kenny might have fallen into the numerous mine shafts scattered throughout the area or encountered treacherous terrain, which led to a fatal accident. Exposure or dehydration. Kenny could have succumbed to the harsh desert conditions, such as extreme temperatures, lack of water, disorientation, ultimately leading to his demise. Foul play or abduction. Some speculate that Kenny may have encountered someone with ill intentions or stumbled upon a dangerous situation, such as drug runners or smugglers, that resulted in his disappearance. Another theory suggests that Kenny might have chosen to disappear and start a new life elsewhere, leaving no trace of him behind. Supernatural or unexplained phenomena. Some believe that the M Cave may hold dangerous secrets or be connected to paranormal events, which could have played a role in Kenny's disappearance. After all, he claimed the M Cave was located in the heart of UFO Valley, at the center of where everything happened in the Nevada desert. Where he was very close to Area 51 and also Nellis Air Force Base. These bases are often talked about by UFO theorists. Kenny Veach's tragic disappearance serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk within the vast wilderness of our national parks. While the enigmatic M Cave continues to elude discovery, Kenny's story lives on throughout his YouTube videos and the unwavering determination of those who continue to search for answers. What do you think happened to Kenny Veach? What secrets does the M Cave hold? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this journey at a universe of mystery. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow mystery enthusiasts. Until next time, stay curious, safe, and prepared as we continue to unravel the world's most intriguing mysteries. Be sure to check out our other videos exploring unsolved disappearance and mysterious phenomena. If you have any suggestions for future videos or cases you'd like us to cover, please leave a comment below. We're always eager to hear from our viewers and learn about the mysteries that captivate your imagination. The strange disappearance of Mike Herron from the Great Smoky Mountains.
It would definitely be considered a cold case. My mind has gone 100 different ways. Anytime, of course, with all the hope we have of finding them, you know, anytime we hear something, you start to believe it.
Michael Edwin Herron, known as Mike, who was 51 years old, was last spotted on his four-wheel drive ATV at approximately 11 a.m. on August 23, 2008, heading towards a densely wooded area close to his 100-acre residence on Bell Branch Road in Blount County, Tennessee. The location is adjacent to the boundary of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
Bell Branch is just a really small road, single lane. It borders the national park. It's sort of back in the corner, so it's really secluded and away from everything.
Following an extensive search of the vicinity near his home, no evidence was discovered except for his abandoned ATV, which had its keys in the ignition, was in high gear, and had the kill switch turned off. There were no footprints, ripped pieces of clothing, noticeable paths through the dense vegetation, bloodstains, body tissue, or skeletal remains found in the area, indicating that Mike had never been there. The authorities presume that he had either been abducted or lost in the forest, while the family suspects that criminal activity was at play. Despite the passage of time, no new evidence has surfaced, leaving the question of what occurred to Mike Herron on that fateful day in August 2008 in the wilderness around Happy Valley, Tennessee, unanswered.
Believe it.
Your mind's just going over so many different things, and you have so many different ideas, and just so many questions that you just want answered.
Mike Herron, who was roughly 5 foot 10 inches tall and weighed approximately 185 pounds, was last seen wearing a faded red t-shirt, khaki cargo shorts, and sandals when he disappeared. Had a snake bite scar on one of his feet, a surgical scar on the back of his knee, and a noticeable tattoo on his lower back, along with a few dental caps. Besides having mild high blood pressure, Mike was in good physical shape. He was a native of East Tennessee and attended Lanier High School, where he played football. Following high school, he worked as a trail trimmer for the Park Service, before starting a successful home building company, Mike Herron Builders, which his sons Matt and Andy also worked for. The company had sold much of its housing inventory in 2007, prior to the housing market crash of 2008 and 9, and there were no apparent financial difficulties. Mike was familiar with the Happy Valley region and owned a 100-acre farm with cattle. He enjoyed exploring caves and venturing deep into the nearby Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Happy Valley is an unincorporated community in Blount County, Tennessee, with approximately 500 inhabitants. It lies within a narrow valley bearing the same name on the northwestern border of the Great Smoky Mountains. Happy Valley Road is the primary road access to the area, linking U.S. Route 129 with the Look Rocks section of the Foothills Parkway. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park spans 522,419 acres and covers the ridgeline of the Blue Ridge Mountains, including the Great Smoky Mountains. Often shortened to the Smokies, this park center is crossed by the border between Tennessee and North Carolina, running from the northeast to the southwest. It was established by the United States Congress in 1934 and officially dedicated by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1940. The park features some of the highest mountains in the eastern part of the United States. The Appalachian Trail, which runs from Georgia to Maine, passes through the park. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is the most visited national park in the United States, with 12.5 million visitors in 2019. Mike's sons, Andy and Matt, were last in contact with him on Saturday, August 23rd, 2008. At around 9:30 a.m., Mike called his son Andy to inform him that he was leaving his condo in Maryville, Tennessee, and would be coming over to his house to collect a lawnmower and trailer for cutting grass on a property in Happy Valley.
He called me Saturday morning just to kind of let me know he was going to head up over the mountain for the weekend. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Although Andy was not home when his father called, he offered to help him load the mower onto the trailer. Matt, Mike's other son, received a voicemail from Mike with the same message. Mike regularly visited his farm in Happy Valley and was eager to mow the grass on a 40-acre neighboring property owned by missionaries who had been away for some time. Andy told his dad he could go ahead and transport the mower by himself if he didn't want to wait, because they only lived about a half hour apart. So he would either see his dad loading the mower and help him, or pass him on the drive. On his way home, Andy passed his dad on Gateway Road, and Mike had the mower and was likely heading towards Bell Branch Road. Later that morning, around 11 a.m., Mike's neighbor saw him pull into his driveway. His neighbor described it as he was hauling a piece of equipment on a trailer. 30 minutes later, they saw him on his four-wheeler ATV, and he waved as he drove down Bell Branch Road. Matt and Andy assumed their dad would call and return the mower and trailer to one of them when he was done, and they went on with their weekends. On Sunday, August 24th, their grandmother Alma called around 2 p.m. concerned that she hadn't heard from Mike and couldn't reach him on his cell phone, even though cell phone reception in Happy Valley was almost non-existent.
I was starting to worry when we were driving up there, just because the whole fact that we were having to drive up there, it was just odd, you know.
Earlier that morning, Alma, Mike's mother, had walked with Matt and Andy from their house on Happy Valley Road to Mike's house on Bell Branch Road, but there was no response when they knocked on his door. They saw Mike's truck in the driveway with a mower and trailer attached, just as their grandfather had seen it earlier that weekend. They also noticed that the lawn had not been mowed. However, Matt and Andy weren't too worried, as their father often spent time away from the house taking care of the cattle or working on the farm. The next day, on August 25th, Alma called again and expressed her concern that she still hadn't heard from Mike. This alarmed Matt and Andy, and they decided to check on their father. Matt first went to Mike's condo on Brown Court in Maryville, where he stayed during the week for work. There, he found 2 of Mike's 3 vehicles in the garage, but nothing seemed out of place. After checking the condo, Matt met up with Andy, and they both went to the farm on Bell Branch Road. Alma had gone back to the farmhouse to check on Mike, but she didn't find him. When Andy and Matt arrived, they saw that Mike's ATV was still in the front yard, and his truck was parked with a lawnmower and trailer attached to the back. Upon closer inspection, they found that the windows of the truck were down, the doors were unlocked, and Mike's keys, ID, and money clip were still inside the vehicle, which was very strange. Matt and Andy came to the realization that the old ATV their grandmother had seen on Mike's property was still there, while the new one that Mike had recently purchased was missing. In addition, Mike's truck was parked in an unusual position, as it was normally moved before the school bus arrived on Monday mornings. Matt was particularly worried about the missing ATV, because it suggested that Mike may have been in an accident and unable to return to the farm. On Monday, August 25th, around noon, the men informed some of the close family members of Mike's disappearance and contacted their mother, who drove to Happy Valley to help them search. Matt and Andy began searching their father's property by repairing a flat tire on an old ATV and driving through all the ATV trails and nearby campgrounds in the national park. They were unable to find any signs of their dad. Around 3 or 4 p.m., Matt and Andy called 911, reporting their father Mike missing to the National Park Service, who transferred the report to the Blount County Sheriff's Office.
Blount
That
County
was first
911.
called and immediately to the Blount County Sheriff's Department. And then within probably an hour or two, they had met us over at his house.
Between 6 and 7 p.m., search teams from the Sheriff's Office arrived to the farm, talked to Mike's friends in the neighborhood, and attempted to track him with a sniffer dog. However, the search was interrupted by heavy rain that persisted for several days. The search teams agreed to meet with the family before daylight the following morning to continue the search for Mike.
We were called out to his house. I remember it was raining.
That's where the old one was parked, right there. Got everybody together on Tuesday morning very early, and that's when we were doing the grid searches and all of that. And Tuesday, I think, around lunchtime is when they had found the four-wheeler.
It was just really oddly placed. Didn't really find a whole lot of evidence.
We grew up riding four-wheelers and dirt bikes. Me and my brother did, and my dad, and all of us did. And, when you turn something off, that has an ignition switch and a key, you turn the key off or it'll drain the battery, the lights and stuff.
Gary Whitehead, one of Mike's neighbors who lived on Bell Branch Road, offered to lead search parties despite being in his 80s. When Mike went missing, Grady caught a glimpse of him as he drove past his house on his ATV and waved at him. The Heron and Whitehead families shared a close bond, having worked as a park ranger in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park for more than 3 decades. Grady was well versed with the terrain and possessed excellent tracking skills, and he couldn't believe Mike would just go missing. He was confident in his ability to locate Mike because the thick vegetation and habitat would leave a telltale sign, like flattened leaves, snapped twigs, and crushed bushes if someone had walked through an area or taken a tumble and then tried to seek help. On Tuesday, August 26th, a friend discovered his missing ATV around 12:05 p.m. near Happy Valley Loop, a road leading to Bell Branch Road and about a mile from Mike's residence. The ATV was in an uncommon location near an abandoned cabin and close to the national park, but not inside of it. It appeared to have been abandoned in a hurry or purposely ditched in the thick brush. The vehicle was undamaged and still had fuel in the tank, but it was found in high gear on a steep hill with the ignition switch on and the kill switch off, which was unusual behavior for Mike. Matt, Mike's son, noted that his father would never leave an ATV on as it would drain the battery. Upon seeing the ATV, Matt and his brother knew it was their father's, but they had no explanation as to why it was in that location. They immediately suspected foul play. The next day, over 50 community volunteers and deputies searched the area where the ATV was found. The search proved fruitless as no trace of Mike or any clues were found. The rain made it difficult to gather any forensic evidence, and the searchers could not find any footprints or a trail in the thick underbrush. Dogs were not able to pick up a scent, and there was no evidence of an animal attack, a struggle, or any foul play. The searchers found no torn bits of clothing, blood, tissue, or bones. It was as if Mike had just disappeared without a trace. Around 450 acres were searched by hundreds of volunteers and officials, with some of the area searched more than once, including aerial searches with the help of the Knox County Sheriff's Office helicopter, cadaver dogs from North Carolina, sheriff's deputies on horseback, private citizens with horses, ATVs, and grid searches in the backcountry on foot. The search also covered about 50 miles of hiking trails, and drones were used to map the area. The sheriff's office even brought in divers to search 2 ponds on Mike's property. No signs of human decay were detected by the cadaver dogs when they were brought in the following Wednesday. The official search for Mike Herron was called off by the Blount County Sheriff's Office on Friday, August 29, 2008. In January 2009, another search was conducted, and an article of clothing was found near the location where Mike's ATV was discovered. However, it did not match Mike's. Some bones were also discovered in a fire pit not far from the ATV location, but they were determined to be from a cow. Despite the thorough search, no trace of Mike, his clothes, or his belongings has been found in the woods around where the ATV was located. Friends and family have conducted searches in the years since his disappearance, but nothing has turned up. As a result, Matt and Andy organized an annual hike called Hike for Mike, along with the trails near Mike's property in Happy Valley. Despite a $15,000 reward, no new leads have been found. According to both his sons, Mike Herron would never have willingly left his family. Andy Herron, who had been married to his wife Casey for about 3 months at the time of Mike's disappearance, said that his father was a family-oriented person who loved the outdoors and the Bell Branch property. Matt Herron also expressed his belief that his father did not simply walk away, citing his close relationship with his mother and his excitement about becoming a grandfather. Matt also ruled out the possibility of suicide, stating that his father did not suffer from depression and had no financial or personal enemies. The ATV's ignition being left on suggests that Mike may have abruptly left the trail due to encountering or hearing something in the woods, or being confronted someone or something that caused him to immediately abandon his vehicle. There are some speculations that Mike disappeared as a result of a drug deal gone wrong, or after stumbling upon an illegal marijuana farm. The disappearance of Mike Herron is a tragic and unresolved case that has left his family and the community with more questions than answers. Despite extensive searches and investigations by law enforcement, no trace of Mike has been found.
Lots and stuff.
We get leads, we get tips, and we follow up on all them. We just, we get tips up until like a couple months ago we had tips and we followed up on it.
Thought of a lot of different details, but there's no point in going there because it's just unknown.
We don't believe, there's not any scenario that I've ran to believe that he's still be alive. I believe that he's dead.
No, it's hard to believe. It's been 14 years. I'm just proud we've all made it through.
This case has led to various theories about what happened to Mike, ranging from foul play to accidental injury or encountering something dangerous in the woods. However, none of these theories have been confirmed, leaving the fate of Mike Herron a mystery. This story serves as a reminder of the importance of being safe and taking precautions when venturing into the wilderness. It's crucial to always inform someone of your planned route, bring necessary supplies and equipment, and to avoid unknown or potentially dangerous areas. Accidents can happen, and it's important to take measures to ensure your safety and the safety of others.